I'm coming at the imposter syndrome totally different from everybody else. Some others have touched on the racial aspect of it. That's cool. It's a piece of that. But I'm coming at the imposter syndrome in a totally different way. I'm not analyzing it. I'm not explaining its origins. Well, I kinda am. I am putting it in a historical context. But that's not where it ends. Where it ends is the complete destruction of it. Attack the idea, and the idol shall die. The burden on me on this book is to prove to the reader that the imposter syndrome is a lie and should be discarded from your whole consciousness. Any thoughts of inferiority are a lie and should be discarded. Period. On top of that, you have the autonomy to do so. Everybody is relying on outside systems to change their policies, to make them feel diverse, equitable, inclusive, and belonging. But those are still outside factors. Let's say all of that does occur. You made the perfect environment. Congratulations. But if a person still doesn't have the mental positioning of self-affirmation, self-love, self-regard, self-care, and all of that, they will still find something to make themselves othered. The landscape of the literature, the landscape of the positioning that most of what I've read so far concerning the imposter syndrome is focused on outside people doing something to make you feel better. That is just not how life works. It never have been. So it's not gonna amount to anything substantial. All it is going to be performative gobbledygook that's going to revolve around itself over and over and over again until it traps itself. Because you're trying to be inclusive and equitable and diverse on everybody's everything, but it's going to get to a point when you get to somebody something that you can't. And now mess around, the whole organization falls because you're trying to take on something that belongs to the person. The development of self-confidence needs to be taught from K to 12, but outside of K to 12 in your household, in your church, in your mosque, in your places of worship, in your congregations, and wherever you chill at with your homies, should all be self-affirmative talking points to embolden one another. And that includes critique, that includes debate, that includes whatever. You know, it's not all daffodils and lilies or whatever, you know what I mean? But what we're dealing with is not an imposter syndrome issue. What we're dealing with is a self-confidence issue. And a lot of people are missing that, lacking that. And if that doesn't get confronted, you will have the imposter syndrome. You will have that self-fulfilling prophecy of not being worth a damn. And that's the tragedy of it all. Because the imposter syndrome only has handles that you can carry, G.